Hello, and welcome to another Wargame of Dragon replay with me, Rangru. And today we have a 1v1 on Highway to Seoul from the Wargame Bootcamp Discord Hardened tournament. And well, on the left hand side in the blue, we have Jaki playing as an Israeli mechanized deck, and on the right hand side in the red, we have Satyr playing as a Blue Dragons mechanized deck. So a whole lot of infantry action about to happen. So quite fun. Both sides are going to be starting off with a rather standard recon helicopter. The Blue Dragon run, even though they are red, which is a little bit of a shame, does have rockets, so it's a little bit better, I would say. Both sides just move on to the front point. They're going to be capturing the respective spawn points, which is of course pretty much mandatory. Let's see how hard either side pushes down south. Or if it's mainly going to be a Delta affair. We do have a little bird charging on through, trying to kill the Nun, which is a fantastic name by the way for a vehicle. I believe it's just a logistics truck here. Down he goes, but same with the helicopter. Was it really a rough trade? Maybe. Yeah, down south in Charlie is going to just be a little bit of reconnaissance play from both sides. Just bringing recon APCs and tanks, and a little bit of infantry. But it does seem like the main attraction is going to be going on the Delta here. Satyr is bringing all his infantry blokes, as well as some mortars. And Jaki, not so heavy. Okay, he's got a decent amount of infantry up here, including the Roviat's infantry transport. But both of these major forces are actually just going to be avoiding each other, it seems here. As Jaki has decided to move up north. So a pretty good play, because if you can also get good control on Echo, it would work out rather nicely for him. He's going to get one of his ATGM troops, as well as Satyr getting his ATGM into the retrospective town, or building complexes. It's not really much of a town. And they can exchange ATGM shots. Cry a bit of smoke play on the road, yeah, blocking off out Magax. And here comes the classic Kurnas. It wouldn't be an Israeli deck without Kurnas strikes. Going after the K1s, kills one of them, and as well as I believe the anti-aircraft unit, or another unit backing up. I didn't exactly catch the name, but the Kurnas does go down to the block with all of its nasty AMRAAMs. So not too bad. I mean, it's good that it knocked out the Kurnas, yeah, but still losing 1k1 does suck. We did have him pretty bunched up, yeah. Oh yeah, Jaki dropped the smoke to cover his Magats, not the other way around. I do apologise. But he probably risked that he was in the smoke, because this Chumat here, or two Chumats, are going to try and chew through his Magak. Getting some very good hits here. There we go, it does go down. But Jaki is making some pretty good progress, I have to say. He's getting a good foothold into Delta. He's actually pushing decently into Echo here, trying to get north into his little complex. But I think Satyr is going to beat him to the punch here. Well, never mind, yeah, he's going to beat him to the punch. And Jaki realizes that and is going to fall back. We don't want to be those Rangers right now, but those mortars have been pretty inaccurate. Must be a special forces training. They find a bulletproof bush. I mean, there's bound to be some bulletproof bushes in Southeast Asia somewhere. Anyway, the Roviat's going to be fighting the Songchungs, but with the K1s backing them up, Satyr is going to be able to beat them up. It'll be no laughing matter for those Roviats. Roviates. I've probably been saying it wrong all these years. Like most words, really. Anasiki going in for a bit of a flank. Oh, it's not the awesome recon one, it's the other one. There's no Hatcher involved. And we are seeing reinforcements of course, a lot of infantry, including some man pads. So they do have, I believe, yeah, the Mistral man pads available too. I'm just checking the deck. Just to keep any of those nasty Israeli helicopters at bay. Which is mainly Cobra attack helicopters, which are usually pretty nasty. Well, this has been a pretty standard opener, really, for both sides. We're going to be seeing a contestant over the Delta Point, and the Echo are seeing a little bit of light skirmishing. But just as usual, down south is just mostly quiet. We just stop zooming in on the bloody F-16 here. We do have the T-55 recon tank going around for quite a bit of a flank here. Try and scout it out. Keep zooming in on the bloody F-16. Yeah, I think Satyr has a pretty good chance of making a bit more aggressive play into Echo. I mean, he does have the JSTF Rangers there, which are still alive. If he maybe just bring a bit more infantry and maybe a tank, he could probably start moving through his forest here and trying to get a bit of a better stronghold onto here. Or Delta are probably just is going to be the standard split line between the triangle forest and the triple forest. The main thing is Satyr has a lot of ATGMs. I mean, those Shumats are really nothing to laugh at. Gonna speed us up because in standard Wargame 1v1 fashion, there's a whole lot of dead time. Both sides do have reconnaissance at their base to stop any flanks, any tactical outplays. And speaking of tactical outplays, we do have a little bird flying about. I wonder if he's, I think he's just going to go for the base, but yeah, it is a man pad, yeah. If you decide to unload, to shoot him down. You've just seen long range mortar play. So getting some good hits from the Rove Edge. Yeah, really, like, passive gameplay from both sides. It's building up forces. Neither side actually bringing up a CV to try and get some juicy command points. But it's still pretty even. But Satyr does have the lead with a whopping 1 point. So I think Jaki's going to have a little bit of a hard time catching up to that. In some mortars from Jaki. We're trying to knock out that missile shroud. And it's going to completely miss. I do like her as a Turan 5 is. He has been taking a little bit of fire. 1 HP, no fuel, loaded up with ammo. I mean, it's pretty much a pillbox. I think the K1 coming in will finish him off. Yeah, it's just more to play. This is just more to play the match. The 107's has been going at it. They've been the main aggressive force here for Satyr. It does seem like Jaki is, both sides actually building up a bit more of a heavier force here into Charlie Gopher Center at least. So we might actually see some aggressive play here, because I don't think either side really wants to push up north. They're happy where they are. Got a Turan 5 here. And rocketed by a little bird, but not enough to kill it. Enough to stun it, however. He's going to be able to get a shot or two on these APCs at least. If he can hit. And it doesn't matter, he just gets blown up by the K1. Okay. You have the F-16 block flying about. Highly vetted anti-seed machine. And also anti-aircraft with those 4 AMRAAMs. I mean, with max veterancy, those AMRAAMs are just nasty work. But he's playing against Israelis, so it's really not a whole lot to see. The Israelis don't have the best air defense network. Wouldn't be until later DLCs with the Yugoslavia Saint Sava meme machines. I'm really curious to see how South Africa's anti-air is going to be. I don't know if I actually talked about it much in the dev blog, but I wouldn't imagine it being all that great just due to well, neighborhood opponents. And Jaki is actually starting to make a bit of an aggressive push up here, but he doesn't have any long range anti-tank firepower, so he's going to be taking some fire from M36 sluggers and Shumats here. M36s are still one of the units we haven't all seen in Steel Division yet. Just because it's out of time frame, unfortunately. And it's probably out of time frame in this game as well. The Roviat's actually making decent progress. I do like, of course, I say this in every goddamn Wargame cast, great use of smoke. Gonna be covering the approach here. The South Korean riflemen are gonna get pushed out of that village. And if Roviats can get inside, they can lure the M36s and actually capture this point. We've seen the Mistral here trying to relocate to deal with the Cobra, as well as the Tumat. But yeah, it's a pretty effective push here from Jaki. If he can keep control of its northern end of Echo, he can pretty much secure Echo, as it is one of the main arteries, main like defensive supply lines for Satyr to get into Echo. The other supply line down here is a little bit out in the open, and ATGMs can blow you up. Taking a look down south, things are quiet. Nothing real much going on. Just a build up of forces, and then all the hostilities happening up in the far north. We are seeing a K1 as well as a Cobra being brought in to try and ferry his push array, and by ferry the push I mean use Hydro rockets to deter any ground targets. It's working pretty effectively. I mean, once again, the problem with Jaki's push is that he didn't have any anti-tank firepower, no McCurvers, no any like substantial, you know, tank cannon firepower to help our ground targets, and now no anti-air to deal with the Cobra. So he is, I believe, bringing out an anti-aircraft unit to try and deal with that at least. Rove H, not doing great. We've got the infantry being brought in to come and finish them off. We are seeing a little bit of a push as well from Jaki into Delta, just moving some Rove H out into the open. Sonchungs are going to get spotted. We've got the Magaks coming in to try and duel of these K1s. And once again, with most fights in Wargame, I think this is pretty much going to come down to which tanks win. Because whoever can blow up the enemy, oh my god, that is a bit of ATGM action. And mortars as well. Whoever can blow up the other person's tanks can easily blow up all the infantry of their own tanks. K1s here are going to be doing that. Trying to pick off these Rove H. We also have McCurva backing up as well. Of course, there's good use of mortars here to keep the infantry at bay. Also good use of smoke to try and cover the advance, but not exactly smoking an important area, and this is not going to be a great push here from Jaki. It's going to be stunted, that's for sure. Even though we have seen that aggressive action up north, it essentially has just ended back down into a stalemate. Either side has really got the upper hand here. Satyr is getting that slow plus run because he has captured Charlie, so this is going to bring us down to the CV race of Jaki needing to buy a CV to probably capture Gulf. That would be the safest move. Satyr can just sit on a nice plus 1 point advantage. And things being as they are, which is a deadlock, is good if you're getting the plus 1 point advantage. Got the barracks coming in, knocking out a helicopter, engine bugging off. They got the F-16s trying to chase, but they're not going to get here in time. Are you trying to snipe the enemy CV with long-range artillery? That's exactly what he's doing. What's he using? Okay, he's got the 203, which is pretty much built for that one rule. There's not much else you can really do with 203s apart from picking off individual units. And it's usually pretty easy to pick off command vehicles. They're not that well armoured unless it's a T-80. And it's pretty well armoured at that point. But if it's long-range game of Battleship, it's probably going to take him a while to try and sink the CV. The JSDF Ranger's finally taken a single casualty here and going to be running into the desert people. The LAV is going to come in and clutch it. The Ranger's not having a good day. Not at all. And once again, this is coming down to mortar skirmish gameplay. Infantry being brought in, trying to rush against that Shumat here. Really actually get you, that is the question. We have 2 K1s, and I think our answer is going to be no. No indeed. But the Magaks aren't going to come through the forest here, and they could potentially challenge the K1, smoking off the Shumat so they don't get ATGM'd. Very good call. It could be a pretty effective push here from Jaki if he can knock... Oh! I thought these were the K1s that moved up north, but no. He just has 4 K1s, so this is going to be a little bit more difficult, as Jaki is going to be out-armoured, which means he's outgunned. There's so much smoke here. So much smoke, was actually going to cover the K1s as they try to move up. Fortunately, the Dorban is out of ammunition. No more spike missiles for him. Even though it's a pretty bloodless push, Jaki has actually forced Satyr to move out of his position a little bit. And if there's a batch of 3 Magatchas, if he can knock out these K1s in one-on-one fights, or 3-on-2 fights really, that would be his best bet. I'm still just expecting for Kernes to come in and just try to nuke the K1s again, but those South Korean KF-16s are pretty nasty. I mean, I don't like side riders, but by God, I really like AMRAAMs. You've actually seen the CV being brought, but actually into Delta, I'm actually quite surprised he's putting it in the air, which is a little bit more of a dangerous point compared to just slapping one into Gulf. You could potentially just get mortared or blown up by aircraft. Or tanks. Or infantry. There's so many ways you can kill a CV. Especially when it's just a... Oh no, it's an APC. It's the APC one. Be getting another one to try and hold on to Gulf as well, so that's actually going to give him the +1 if he manages to successfully capture both command points. Which would be the idea, I think. Smoke artillery going to be firing away. I mean, we only have 17 minutes left in this match. It should still go anyone's way, really, if Jaki can keep out +1. The favour, I would say, is to Satyr. I'm really curious to see if his long-range CV sniping will actually become effective. I mean, he's trying to hit the obvious point, which is, yeah, the place you usually put the CV, but Jaki decided it'll be a little bit different in this case and putting it in the thin forest strip. With Stingers backing them up as well as some point defense Cobras just cause. Yeah, it's just coming down to long-range artillery fire. He's still just hitting the same spot. I think he'd try to hedge his bets and just hit somewhere different. Just seeing both air superiority groups flying around here. The question is something going to happen? Because Jaki, he doesn't need to push up. He is getting that +1. So it's going to come down to Satyr really just trying to sneak out CV into Echo to try and neutralize it. Neutralize point bleed. Okay, so we are seeing the K1s dance around a little bit. Yeah, those 2 K1s in Delta really makes it pretty hard to actually push into the point here. I do believe those Megatches did go down. As I'm no longer seeing them, they probably got killed by the K1s. It will really make it hard to push into here. But speaking of pushes, finally, we're seeing some action. Some rooty tooty shooty between the Rove 8 and the Chong Chongs. Jaki trying to make some push happen to Charlie here. Flanking around of the Cobra now. This is what I like to see. The Cobra does trade kills with the Hachinanashiki. But of course, there's another Cobra. But of a different variety. Oh no, and the Megatches, I believe, just relocated down south. Never mind. They're not dead. They're still alive, though one of them is now very dead. And there's 3 K1s here to stop him. God damn, he has a lot of K1s on the map. They're not super expensive tanks, but still. It's definitely paying off, though. It's a good call. Those Megatches are not going to be able to really stretch their legs out in Charlie now with the K1s keeping them back. Which is really going to suppress Jaki's infantry advances. Now seeing once again another person to Delta here. We do have 2 McCurva 2AAs, but it's only going to be able to do so much. Great against the infantry. Tank, yeah, anti-tank firepower is okay as well. I don't believe it has. It's not as good compared to the K1. Oh, actually, oh, it has better armor. It's actually a pretty even fight. I forgot the tank stats. It's been a while. But it doesn't matter how much frontal army you have when there's 2 match in the area. And a Peace Pheasant as well. Coming in, going for all the APCs. Ends the kill one by Archer, and it does pay for it. But this is going to be probably another stunted push here. EV having a hard time capturing a point. Also because there's a enemy CV in Delta. So for 9 minutes, it's pretty even Stevens. I mean, Jaki just needs to get that +1 for a little bit to try and get the victory, and Satyr just needs to sit back and relax and hope that doesn't happen. Or push. If he could actually clear out Delta, I think I'd pretty much secure him the game. Yeah, he did lose 2 of his K1s, yeah. Just hurt his ground-based firepower a little bit. And he's also starting to push into Gove here as well. The passes are attacking. We're going to be seeing a third ball over here. And this is no 6-day war. The South Koreans do have a pretty decent anti-aircraft net. Well, I'd say anti-aircraft net, but like fighter planes to be more accurate. Though the fighter planes are anti-aircraft in a way. While also being aircraft, they just really hate their own kind. We're seeing another CV being brought in, and I'm guessing that is going to go over the Echo. Try and get Jaki at +1. It's going to be a risky maneuver as he doesn't have great control over Echo, but fortunately Satyr doesn't really have great control of it either, really only holding on to his half, so to speak. Yeah, we're pretty much just been seeing that 203mm fire being redirected to Delta as it is a bit more of a better point to blow up. A bit more obvious where the CV is. That makes it... Oh, what a shame. The intention was, yeah, but... the smoke didn't cover him just enough to be spotted by the rather aggressive pheasants. Poor guy. But Satyr is getting that +1 now, just due to that constant suppression of the Delta CV. I think Satyr pretty much has this in the bag. I mean, he is making good aggressive play into Gove. I don't think enough to actually kill the enemy CV, but enough to redirect forces. And we're going to be seeing another push into Delta once again, but there's a bit of heavy anti-armor here. The Chumats, the 2K1s, Chumats down south. I mean, Chumats are just chewing through the enemy forces. And he's going to be bringing another CV into Echo. Just setting up that smoky forest. Gonna have to try and keep up for the next 4 minutes. Because he has to catch up by over 100 points, which is gonna be a bit hard. He really needs a +2. And I don't think that's going to happen in this case. Unless he can snipe the Delta CV. But even then, Echo's gonna be captured in a minute by the Bonboos. Which is a fantastic name. Push into the southern side is not going that route here for Satyr. Taking some casualties, but he did manage to get his infantry for the northern forest, but with the helicopter being brought in, actually the gun tank is going to gun him down, so maybe it's being a little bit too harsh. This could actually work. And more importantly, just redirect forces from Jaki from trying to reinforce his northern side. Well, the Bonboos up north got sniped, it seems, which is not ideal. We don't want to be those Bonboos, and Jaki's now getting that +1. Alright, gonna go down? Yes, he does. South Korean Air Force does not mess about. Kentucky Fried Fighter Planes. We're going to see another CV, I believe, being brought to Echo to try and neutralize that point. But yeah, this is pretty much over for Jaki. He can't really catch up in under 2 minutes. But it was a good attempt. He's going to get decently close, but not close enough. And yeah, I really think that match came down to just, good old tank fights, and the K1s and the Chumats really proved to be a bit more superior in that aspect. I mean, Satyr just managing to secure, a +1 point advantage for long enough, which as we already see is how a lot of 1v1s go. If someone gets that +1, the other person lets it bleed for even just a little bit too long. And even in that case, that wasn't that long of a +1, only up to like 100, like 30 odd points or so, I believe, before Jaki started investing on his own CV. But even then, just 100 odd points, especially in such a stalemate, slow match like that, is a pretty huge point lead. And if Jaki was being a bit more aggressive in the command vehicle play earlier on, that really would have been his better bet in securing the victory. But a very good match nonetheless. As always, lovely smoke play from both sides in micro, and we saw some pretty nice furballs in the sky, which is always fun to see. And well, I'm going to leave it off at that. This has been another Rangru cast. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and as usual, please just take it easy.